Basic Math, Chapter 8, Section 1, Multiplying Fractions. What is 1/2 of 1/3? This means 1/2 times 1/3. So how can we visualize this? If we have half of this figure and we want 1/3 of it, well, of this half, here's 1, 2, 3. So here is 1/3 of 1/2. There's one way to look at it. And we can also look. So here is 1/3 of this figure, and now we want 1/2 of that. Well, here's 1/2 of that 1/3. So either way, 1/2 of 1/3 equals 1/6. Knowing the basic multiplication facts will help you to multiply fractions. Example 1, multiply 1/2 times 1/3. Well, step 1, multiply the numerators. So here's how you can do it just working with math instead of with the picture. 1 times 1 is 1. So we've only multiplied the numerators, which are the numbers on top of the fraction. Step 2, multiply the denominators. 2 times 3 is 6. Step 3, reduce to lowest terms. 1/6 is the lowest terms. So the product of 1/2 and 1/3 is 1/6. Example 2, multiply 3/4 times 2/5. Step 1, multiply the numerators. 3 times 2 is 6. Step 2, multiply the denominators. 4 times 5 is 20. Reduce to lowest terms. 2 is the greatest common factor of 6 and 20, which is the sidebar is telling us. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 20 divided by 2 is 10. Now that's lowest terms. The product of 3/4 and 2/5 is 3/10. Multiply. Write each product in lowest terms. So for the sake of following just like the example, we will multiply 1 times 3 and get 3. Then we'll multiply 3 times 4 and get 12. This is not lowest terms because 3 can go into 12 and 3 can go into 3 one time. 3 goes into 12 4 times. That is lowest terms. Number 2, numerator times numerator. 5 times 1 equals 5, and denominator times denominator is 6 times 2. That's 12. 5 cannot go into 12 evenly, so that is lowest terms. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. We can't have 4 go into 9 evenly, and we don't have 2 going into 9 evenly, so that's lowest terms. 3 times 2 is 6, and 5 times 3 is 15. 6 doesn't go into 15 evenly. The next factor for 6 would be 3. 3 will go into both. So if we divide the top and the bottom by 3, we can reduce to lowest terms. 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. And now that's lowest terms. So that's how we work through there. There's plenty more problems we could go through, but they'd all be the same. If we took one more, we would multiply the numerator times the numerator, the denominator times the denominator, and we would get 10 over 18. And then we would reduce. They're both even. You can always divide an even number by 2. In this case, it would bring us down to 5 over 9. So if you'd like to practice some more, you can pause the video here and do some more in your notebook or do your practice in the workbook. We can also see how this works out with everyday problems. This is a drawing of Lee's garden. What fraction of the garden is planted in corn? White corn and yellow corn. So 2 types of corn. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the 8 rows. And we can reduce that to 1/2 because 4 goes into 4 once and 4 goes into 8 twice. Now what fraction of the corn is white corn? The white corn is even circled in white, and that is 3/8. What fraction of the garden is white corn? Well, we can also multiply 1/2 times 3/4. And that would give us 3/8. Because half of the garden is corn, and 3/4 of that corn is white. That was the idea. What fraction of the garden is yellow corn? So half of the garden is corn, and 1/4 is the yellow corn. So let's see if this gives us, this would be 1/8 if we just looked at the chart, because all of it is 8, and this has one section of it being 8. So 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 4 is 8. So yes, we get the 1/8. And we could label it yellow corn, white corn, white corn, and this is corn. All right, thank you.